Hi. So, I wanted to talk today a little bit about what's the best way to deal with negative feelings and emotions. You know, there's this whole industry revolved around trying to help us figure out ways of distracting ourselves from feeling bad. So most of the time, like our makeup as humans is that we want to maximize the amount of time that we're feeling good, and we want to minimize when we feel bad, and that's obviously very normal. But how can you minimize? How can you really minimize the feeling bad part? So we all kind of instinctively tend to want to run away from the feeling bad part, and there's from positive thinking to meditation to um, exercise to watching funny movies to abusing alcohol and drugs. There's just a myriad of ways that you could distract yourself from feeling bad. And the thing is that it works, but it only works in the short term while you're doing it. So, the alternative seems horrible and scary. But the real truth is that when you're trying to push away the bad feelings all the time, you're still struggling with them. You're still giving them energy by pushing them away, by trying to hold them at bay from you. Whereas if you were to take the opposite approach, which is to lean into it, face the monster, face the bad feeling, get used to dealing with whatever the feelings that you experience, and get used to understanding and exploring how you experience them in your body, well then that is the fastest way out. So the fastest way out is through. It really is. The fastest way out of all sorts of horrible feelings is to lean into them and see it through. Now, that's very different from leaning into a negative feeling and going around and around in your mind trying to figure it out. Okay? So that's just getting caught up in a whole pile of thought. So what happens is, if you decide to go that route, is you're worrying, and you're trying to figure it out. But from this place of not having a clear mind and having a stormy physicality, your nervous system is off balance and you're just not 100% yourself and trying to figure things out. It doesn't work. You end up with this circular reasoning and worrying and starting to feel worse and worse and worse. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is actually a very revolutionary approach, but it has been known about for forever. And up until recently, it was really only used by people who had spent, most of their lives practicing meditation or different forms of self-inquiry. So now we know that it's something that you can use as a tool. So how do you do it? All right, well, very, very simply, say you're feeling angry or sad. So let's pick angry. So you're feeling angry. Something happened and it's really angered you, and there's anger inside of you. So what I suggest is you sit with it, you lean into it. You don't spend the time trying to figure out, oh, why am I angry and what they did and the whole circumstances of it all. No. What you do is you stop and you start to notice, how does the emotion of anger manifest itself in your body. So you just sit with it. And so, for example, you start with going, okay, I'll notice my breathing. So is my breathing shallow and fast? Am I breathing from up here? Or is my breathing deep and slow? When you have a heightened emotion, you're generally going to be breathing fast and shallow. So just noticing that really connects you with your body and the experience of what this is doing to your body. Next, you'd notice, all right, do I feel any tightness or tension anywhere in my body? Where does it feel? Where do I feel the sensation of anger inside of me? Where is it? And there's a fantastic, actually, universal study was done across many different cultures where they asked people to draw in cartoons of the body and outlines of people's bodies, to draw where do you feel anger, where do you feel fear, where do you feel joy, where do you feel happiness. So all of the different types of emotions that researchers could come up with, they asked people to draw and to also colour in what they look like to them. So what colour is fear for you? When you're feeling afraid, what colour would you call that? And where in your body would you feel it? With anger, where do you feel that? And what colour would you put on it? So simply by doing this, by taking yourself away from all of the context of the thought around and all the perception around why you're feeling angry, for instance, and bringing your attention into, oh, where do I experience that inside my body? By noticing that, by noticing without judging, just noticing, that gives you a little bit of space between you and the feeling, or between you and the situation that caused the feeling. So when you get that space, that's when you start to get that clear mind again, and it all starts to calm down for you. So that's what I'm saying. The fastest way is through. Otherwise, you try to ignore how the experience of anger has expressed itself within you, and you either ignore it by, trying to distract your mind, trying to distract yourself, or work it out, work that excess energy out by exercise, or you go into the thought part of it, of the emotion, instead of the feeling part of it. Okay, so to recap, we're saying the fastest way out is through. Next time you feel a really strong emotion, just stop. Notice where you're breathing. Notice where in your body you feel it, what tensions there are. Notice what colour you'd give it. And then notice that you've got some space from it. So it's almost like you are the blue sky and the emotions are the clouds. So, some emotions are really nice, or we don't mind having them, and they just kind of pass by. And others can be very stormy. So if you're feeling a lot of sadness or a lot of anger, it can feel like, using this analogy, that it's a very stormy day. Okay, but by using this technique, you step back out of the storm, back up to being the sky again. And from that space of being the sky, you can see the storm, but you have it in perspective. So then you can choose to do something with that energy that you have, that the emotion has unlocked inside of you. So sometimes anger can bring so much energy, and then you can use that, you can choose to channel that in a productive way. You can then go and exercise, consciously having chosen to use the energy of the anger to go and work out, or sit down and write a strong letter, or whatever it is that's appropriate for that situation. Sadness generally brings like a lack of energy with it, so it kind of dampens down or depresses your whole energy. So again, moving back into the sky and noticing what's going on in your body releases and frees up so much energy for you. So it's really quite groundbreaking. I would love you to go and test it out and see how you find it, and come back and give me a comment. Let me know how you're getting on with it. I've been teaching this for like 20 years, and people who use it find it absolutely just life-changing. So this is just like a small little video talking about it. It's something that I do more in depth. If you're interested in working with me, give me a shout. tarakillen@me.com is probably the quickest way to get me. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Talk soon. Bye.